evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Board of Supervisors meeting for Thursday, October 5th, 2023. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We had one executive session September 21st after the last meeting, in specific about the police chief position. RC was not present. Solicitor Matt Cream was here in absence of the township manager. Past meeting minutes for approval. Got any changes? I'd like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for September 21st as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion a second, all in favor? Aye.
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 Motion carries. Next up, discussions and presentations. We got none. Action items, the LERA program. Tom, you got anything for us on that?
Follow up the discussion had at our meeting in September. We're reviewing the possibility of amending our LERA program to remove the limited industrial district and to allow to remain the general commercial district.
Gentlemen, you guys have any other thoughts on that? We talked about at the last meeting.
I think everything was
Got anything?
I mean, my point's clear. I don't know how we can, I'm going to say it again, I don't know how we can go down to the commissioner's office and ask for a 5-year extension on LERA, and then within 6-7 months turn around and ask that LERA to get removed. I just don't understand where our strategy sits.
My point still stays the same. I think it's definitely a great program, but we should limit it to the general commercial rather than leaving it wide open across the board for light industrial as well. As you guys seen in our manager report, there's plenty of warehouses that are trying to come in. There was just one recently last week. One of the solicitors that does a lot of work in the township met with our township manager and another warehouse developer, and they were aware that there's discussions going on about removing it. And I think, Tommy, if I'm not mistaken, you asked the developer if that's going to change their mind in wanting to be here, and they said absolutely not.
Okay.
So I think it's light industrial. They're putting a lot of trucks and heavy vehicles on our roads, and we're giving them a tax break. I'm all about bringing more commercial here. I've said it plenty of times. The warehouses come, we have the option to say yes or no. We have plenty of them in East Cocalico Township. I'd like to see more commercial.
So if the industrial doesn't care whether LERA is in place or not, why would you remove the LERA for the industrial? You just leave it the way it is.
So because if they come back in and then they ask for it, how are you going to say you're not getting it? Can you say that? No.
I'm going to remind the public and the residents of East Cocalico of a little bit of history. In the past, for whatever reason, there was a lot of activity, a lot of interest, a lot of dynamics going on related to commercial. Everyone talked about what was coming into East Cocalico from a commercial perspective for years. I wasn't around at the time. I was traveling all over the world. When I came home, my wife would tell me, all excited about everything going on and what she had heard. Where is it? As a result of that, again, this is my position. Our infrastructure is aging. That means the roads are getting older. If you're assuming the same thing with industrial doesn't happen that happened with the previous cycle in commercial. If it happens, if the economy doesn't keep going the way it's going, the only people left to pay that tax burden is going to be East Cocalico residents, the businesses that are here, everything that's already in place. So all I'm saying is, this is one of those decisions. This is the same thing I said last time. This is one of those decisions that if you don't have a proper roadmap, a proper strategy, and you really think through what's going to happen here, with a best case or a worst case scenario, in my opinion, it's quite a gamble. And that's why I'm a believer, and if LERTA's in place, the reason that it was put in place is to attract the attention, just leave it the way it is. That's my opinion on it. I can't be any clearer than that.
I think we talked extensively last time about some of the history of the almost 5 years the word has been in place. And I'll say it once again, show me the list of commercial businesses that have come, because that's aside from a local expansion or so, it just hasn't happened.
I understand what you're saying there. Commercial.
Yeah, it just hasn't happened yet.
You missed the commercial window in East Cocalico.
So obviously,
The point is, we missed the commercial window in East Cocalico. That commercial window went to adjoining municipalities.
and we're the ones with LERTA in place, not in Ephrata, not in the other way. So why didn't it bring them here?
Because you missed the window. They put the commercial in place because we did not facilitate the commercial for whatever reasons.
LERTA incentive was there. It's a tremendous incentive.
No.
No increase in taxes for the first 2 years over the existing tax base. None.
You're
And it didn't bring them.
combining the annual cycles. Separate the cycles out. We did not put LERTA in place until Ephrata built out the way Ephrata built out, along 322, and they're continuing to build out. We did not put LERTA in place until Sinking Springs and Wyomissing built out on the intersection of 222. The real estate market in a commercial, industrial, and warehousing perspective is a cyclical market, just like housing. It's cyclical. The commercial cycle was there 10, 15, 12 years ago. We missed it. That market has now moved on to no large commercial. It's all ordered on the internet. It's all delivered by Amazon or some other eBay or whoever you order it from. I'm sure many of our residents sitting here do it currently. It's moved on from commercial, large box commercial. It's now moved and migrated towards what's left. What's left is industrial and warehousing.
You know, I would disagree with some of that. In the last 2, 3, 4 years, new strip malls, shopping centers have appeared in Ephrata. No LERTA in place. There's been expansion of commercial out there. No word in place. Here we have it.
But the catalyst didn't start because of the last 2 years. Catalyst started 6 to 8 years ago.
Well, I think Lorenzo makes a good point. Having it in place for commercial, I still hear it throughout the community. People are looking for shopping opportunities, other restaurant opportunities right here in our township. So it makes sense to have that. And with everybody talking warehouses, if they want to come, I don't think they need to worry about it.
I just want to add, to RC's point, if we did miss the commercial window, I personally have no interest in more warehouses. So why don't we just cut it all at once?
How are you gonna pay for your infrastructure in 5, 7, 8, 10 years?
Well, it's like you said, it's a gamble. We're here to make those decisions.
That's a big decision to make without having.
Well, that's why you're elected. Yes, ma'am.
Sue Mackley, I have a couple comments. I've been hearing about all these commercial businesses that went up to Ephrata. From a real estate standpoint, they went there for one reason and one reason only. They had a big box anchor store. Anybody in real estate knows that. That Walmart has been there since 1999. Do you remember how, well, you probably don't, you weren't here, maybe you weren't active. The people had a fit about a Walmart coming in. I mean, it was ugly. Neighbors were arguing with neighbors, it was ugly. But they came, and everybody loved them. And it's an anchor store. And all those little strip malls like anchor stores. And that's why they keep going up there. There's no other reason. It's location, location, location. Why don't we have them here? Hey, Benderson obviously thought that piece of ground was useful when they purchased it. Acme was already built in 1999, I think. Now, they're not a big box store, but they're a big industrial warehouse that did a lot of tax good for this community. Henderson, they claim they had a few anchor stores, which never happened. 2008, bottom fell out, the brick and mortar, and they said, we're not coming. That's no fault of ours. It's the way the cards fell. But now you guys keep talking about these warehouses. I pulled out my 2003 brand new zoning in 2003, East Cocalico, and 272, the whole way is bright red on both sides, commercial zoning. When did the commercial zoning change over here at Black Horse? When did that change to light industrial?
2020.
I think you're getting my point. You guys changed it.
I didn't change it. I would have never approved it. I've said it many times.
Well, I know it wasn't a previous.
2020, wasn't me.
Same way over here at Benderson. Half of that now is warehousing.
Henderson, nothing's been
Isn't it?
approved.
That didn't go through yet?
Absolutely
Are you
not.
keeping that all commercial?
I don't know. We're gonna decide that the next meeting when they come and do a presentation.
But if
What
you
I
want
say
commercial,
stands.
you gotta keep it. You've gotta keep a big.
I'm gonna say the same thing. It could stay empty for another 10 years. I'm gonna say no warehouses. That's my opinion.
Then keep it zoned commercial.
That's what he said.
That's what it was zoned for the shopping center. And
That's my
they was
intent.
talking here of rezoning half of it to put a warehouse on it.
425,000 square feet in the back. That's what they're
But
proposing.
again, you keep talking about this, but you're going through a change of the zoning.
We haven't changed anything. We haven't even voted on it. It's just discussion. They're coming to present it at the next meeting. And if you, I don't know if you were present when they did come the first time. They made a presentation, we heard them out, and we commented what we commented. I can speak for myself. I want no more warehouses here. My other board members can say whatever they want, but I'm only one person. They outvote me, they outvote me.
I agree, we don't want more trucks on the road. I think it should be put that way. You know, and you have to have zoning for everything, you know that. You have to allow for all kinds of zoning. And there's a proper place for them. I mean, I think I never met an Acme truck on the road ever. It was a perfect place for them, off the beaten track, off of our roads.
Let me clarify something Lorenzo said here, that I kind of support and I don't support. Let me be very, very crystal clear. I don't care if it's commercial, I don't care if it's industrial, I don't care if it's warehousing. I've done the math. I did the 5, 6, and 7 year projections myself. It's about aging infrastructure and how are you going to pay for it. It's that simple. I don't care what it is. And Ms. Mackley, to respond to you, yes, we rezoned it. Because in my opinion, whatever is a viable option to bring the tax dollars in so we don't have to raise the taxes, that's a viable option.
Talking about Black Horse.
Black Horse, I'm talking about Black Horse, right. So I'm with Lorenzo. I don't want warehousing, I don't care. I want the warehouse, but I want the warehousing, I want the industrial, and I want the commercial. I just want whatever we can bring in that's going to help level, load, and balance our tax base for the future.
And just one more comment. I think you might be taking a risky position when you say we'll allow her for something, but not the other guy. I wouldn't do that. You own commercial property. You know what I'm talking about. Just keep a level playing field. Isn't going to encourage them to come. Your zoning is what encourages them to come, not Florida. I think you just heard that. So just keep the level playing field. That's my stance.
Appreciate
You
it.
start getting off of that, you're getting shaky water.
There's another question in the back, or anybody else? Yes, sir.
Alan Maxwell. The question I had is, we've not talked a lot about TIF in the past, but unless I'm mistaken, isn't TIF supposed to go to help improve infrastructure? Are we using TIF to improve infrastructure? I've not seen any reports that say there's any TIF money going to improve the roads in the township. If that money's just sitting there doing us no good, why do we have it? Number one. Number two, if LRTA did not attract the businesses we thought it was going to, then it's time to change it and look at something else. I think the township needs to do a deep dive on why all those businesses went to Ephrata, went to Sinking Springs, why I'm missing. Why didn't they come to East Cocalico? If we had LRTA and that didn't attract them, what else is going on here? We need to do a deep dive within the township and figure that out, or we're going to continue to lose that business. I'm with Lorenzo. I think we are almost at the saturation point of warehouses in this township, to the point where it's going to start to detract from the township and force people to go elsewhere. We need to attract restaurants, shopping centers that are going to benefit the families of this township. We have a lot of new people moving into the township, and what do we have to keep them here? Not much. We don't have any entertainment venues. We have no restaurants for them, additional restaurants for them to go to. We have no shopping centers for them to go to, except to Ephrata, Sinking Springs, why I'm missing. So we're talking about a whole bunch of stuff, but one thing we're not talking about is doing a deep dive into why they went there in the first place.
Mr. Maxwell, I agree with many aspects except for one. You're saying we need to do a deep dive completely. But then how do we change LRTA when we haven't done the deep dive? It's a heck of a risk.
If it hasn't brought people in, why do we have it?
If it's not attracted those types of businesses to the township, then it's time for a change, do something different. It's the old adage, if you keep doing the same thing and expecting the same results, what does that say?
What's the project life cycle of land development on a building that's 50,000 square feet, 100,000 square feet or larger?
It's hard to say in this environment.
It's not a year and a half. It takes time.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it starts also at, we need to market our township. You know, marketing, getting it out there.
We tried that.
Well, that was years ago. I mean, this is my second year on the board. I have not once heard us marketing in East Cocalico Township. It's all about getting our name out there and be like, hey.
We tried that. The
Open
community
arms.
didn't want it. We tried.
It's a whole different community now. Whole new community of residents that are in here that want that kind of stuff. I think it's time to put it out there and let's get something going. We have a prime location here and we're not taking advantage of it because we're focused on bringing warehouses in.
I don't believe we're focused on getting warehouses in.
That's what's coming.
That's what's coming.
We're not knocking on their door.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying that's what we're attracting is warehousing.
But
And that's not what we want.
your comment implies we're actively pursuing them.
Let me rephrase that. We're having warehouses come to us because we don't have the other stuff coming in. That's opening the door for the warehouses to come in. We have to figure that out.
And quite honestly, we can't stop it. The way we can stop it is if people try to come and try to rezone properties to light industrial. You have a say, and you say no. That's the only place we can stop it. But if there's light industrial property out there and they want to build, you can't say no.
No, I agree.
I had another question over here.
Just a comment.
Name, please.
Doug Mack. Alan, you said we gotta market ourselves. It's been talked about in this room, not only tonight, but many, many times. We don't have anything. This isn't Hershey Park. This isn't Valley Forge or anything like that. What does East Cocalico have to offer someone to come here?
There's a whole lot of stuff.
Well, like what? Now, you use.
We have
terms like-
access, easy access to 272, 222, the turnpike.
So does.
Some of the greatest access. We have better access here because we're the first ones coming into township,
Okay, that's
number one.
and that's gonna.
Number two, we have one of the greatest areas in the county to live in. You can't get to Lancaster County from the north without coming through East Cocalico. Easy access on and off for people from Wyomissing coming down, Ephrata coming up, Lancaster, Reading coming down. It's 15 minutes from either way with the new roads.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff we can market
And
this
those two
township
things
with.
we're gonna market and build a
There's a
township.
lot more within the township.
Well,
But we have to start attracting businesses and not use that to be able to market.
How long have you lived here, sir?
I've lived here going on 40 years.
Okay, well, I've been here 50-some years, and it hasn't changed. It hasn't changed.
That
You know,
says a
we're all
lot about
making
what we've
all-
been doing.
We have a lot more
Excuse
townships, we
me,
have a lot
excuse me.
more,
Name, please.
Yeah.
Terry Maxwell. We have a lot more residential than we had 50 years ago. We keep building all these houses and all these people come into our township and they go every place else to purchase their goods,
But here,
but here.
Yeah.
So obviously, they need restaurants, grocery stores, whatever. Why send them to Ephrata?
And I'm not disagreeing with you.
I mean, you say, who do we market it to? We market it to them.
I said when I sat on the board, you can't even buy a pair of pants in East Cocalico Township. You gotta go to Weaver's Mennonite Mall or Ephrata or somewhere else.
and in all honesty, I blame previous boards for not doing anything. This board is trying, but they need more support from the township than they do not. If you look back at the previous boards, and I'm not gonna name names because there's been a whole host of boards over the 40, 50 years I've lived here. But this board is trying. And we need to continue trying and do other things. If something's not working, we have to change it and do something different.
In 2019, when we rolled out a 5-year projection,
Do you have that, so we publish, so we can see it?
absolutely, it's on YouTube, the entire PowerPoint presentation, all 20.
I've looked for it, couldn't
slides.
find it on YouTube, I'll look again. But we have nothing in writing that can be given out to the residents to view what the board is.
That was all put out in 2019 in detail. That meeting that was rolled out as part of the budget, that meeting went until almost 12:30 in the evening. That meeting was strictly discussing the budget for the following year, including all the detailed tactical support documentation as to how to get there. That included assigning supervisors as liaisons to real estate companies, including commercial real estate companies. Alan, you're back there. Let me hear you now say it out loud. Did we or did we not do that?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so what you're saying, sir, is not correct. It's not factually correct. It was there. We presented it. We presented it, we asked the community. As part of that, that's where the Community First logo came from. The Community First logo came from that plan. The Community First logo was when we asked the residents to please submit to us ideas and concepts for rebranding of East Cocalico. That was the rebranding process. That was successfully achieved. That is how you see Community First on all the apparatus for our volunteer companies. You see it with our police departments now. Everyone has it. As also part of that rebranding, we also proposed something very, very aggressive. Labeling East Cocalico as the gateway to Lancaster County. And at that point, we started receiving a lot of pushback from residents. So I take exception to what you're saying because it's there.
I've asked in previous meetings for a hard copy of the 5-year plan, and I've yet to be able to find it. If it was done in writing and you all signed off on it, it should be available.
If you can leave me your email address.
Gladly. I'd like to see what was put out there and to see where we failed.
I will gladly send it to you. The only thing is, I will tell you, that is a snapshot in time of 5 years based off of where we were back then. So of course, a lot of the concept strategies and thought processes can still be applied, but a lot of the core data has to be recalculated. Okay, so that's all there. Alan's back there now, he knows this well. Mr. Maxwell, you can't believe the pushback we got. No, we're a small community, we don't need to do this, no. It's there.
It's a whole different environment now that needs to be explored.
It's there.
You guys got pushback because he called it the gateway, or you guys got pushback because you were trying to do something like this?
Yes and yes.
Yes, sir.
Jeff Garner, so if we did that in 19, what have we done since 19 to go back and talk about it? And we're 5 years into this already. Are we redoing it again? Like, what are our pros and cons of, again, I don't remember that, but what are our pros and cons to what was discussed 5 years ago or in 2019? Does that have to be modified? Again,
That's what I'm trying to
just asking questions because.
So the best way to answer that, is this. Every 2 years you have new board members. It's the way the system works. And if they decide they don't want to pursue that plan, then we don't pursue the plan. It's that simple.
What are we
Just because a plan is put in place by a group of board members, and as that board changes and you get a majority that's not interested in pursuing it, then you don't pursue it.
But was anything advised that that plan was not, like, it was done in 2019? I don't recall ever hearing that we're not continuing again, or we're not gonna pick it up again. So
That's discussed during your budget meetings.
Okay.
That's all discussed during your budget meetings. What about this? What about that? One that keeps coming up for this year is the salt shed for the road crew. So people they're gonna look back and say, 3 years from now, why don't we have a salt shed? We've been discussing it again for the last 2 years. It's been in the budget, it's been approved in the budget, and we didn't move on it because there's no interest in moving on it. So does that answer your question, Jeff?
yeah, it does. Thank you.
We're not a dictatorship.
Yeah, no,
Put
I
a
just,
plan in place, right? It just doesn't roll forward.
That doesn't mean it
It's almost-
can't happen next year.
right, it's almost like a business model, and that's what I was just getting at.
Yes.
It's like, okay,
It's a great analogy.
you did the business model 5 years ago, it's like, okay, now we have new boards every 2 years. Are we re-looking at the business model? And
Yes.
if that business model didn't work, we're gonna publish this one, or we're gonna update the business model. And what I'm hearing is, we don't really do that other than 1 or 2 things. So it's like, we spent hours and hours of presentations of a business model that sounds like it had some leverage,
Tens of hours.
and I appreciate that, and thank you for doing that, and it had leverage, but then it just stopped. Like, we didn't take it, we didn't expand on it, we didn't like, okay, what did we throw against the wall, and what stuck, and what didn't stick, and then like, okay, well, these 5 things didn't work, but these 5 are, let's go after these 5, let's do 5 more. So I'm not hearing that we're doing that, and I guess I'm just asking, can we?
To your point, it seems like a lot of things get brought up and never get to the end. There's a lot of things we say, or even, I'm not saying just this board, previous boards, everybody. Things get talked about, and then all of a sudden, you don't hear about it anymore. What happened to it? And if you don't ask, you don't know.
Is that something moving forward for the best interest of the community, that it's like,
Jeff, I started last year. I have yet to see what RC's gonna plug into the TV. I haven't seen it. I'm all for bringing business here. I own business here. I want more business here. I want our constituents to be able to pick from 15, 20 different restaurants, or 5 grocery stores, or gas from another Anchor, or whatever, or be able to buy a pair of pants in the township. Right. I don't want to go to Reading. I don't want to go to Lancaster all the time. Why can't I spend my money here? I hear it all the time. My wife, my sister-in-law, customers at the restaurant, constituents I just meet out on the, going to public events. Everybody says the same thing. Yes, ma'am.
Then why'd you move here?
What's that?
Why'd you move here?
Because I love the area.
There you go. Bingo.
So.
Now listen, no wait.
That was 19 years ago.
Over 30,
I'd still like to better it, and that's why I ran for the position.
I could sit and argue with you all day. I've spent over 30 years in real estate. I've talked to all the people who move in, and I know why they move in. Most of them don't get 1 iota that there's not a store here. They don't mind driving 5 minutes up the road, to 10 minutes to Ephrata. If they wanted to live up there, then they could have moved up there. Here's my other point. RC and I have gone back and forth over this through the years. He likes the word marketing. I said, don't even bother.
Yeah, we argued a lot.
We argued a lot over marketing.
Yes.
The area markets themselves. If I ask each and every one of you who are complaining about those stores, why did you move here?
I moved here 40 years ago because I was tired of the development going on in Chester County in the direction that it was.
Bingo.
I still want to see the township
Bingo.
grow. I don't want to travel
I've
to
lived here my
shop.
whole life, and I can tell you, and this is the gospel truth, Alan, you might remember, 35, 40 years ago in your church, remember when your preacher from the pulpit preached about all these developments? They were sick and tired of watching farmland go to development. I'm telling you the truth. Do you remember that?
So.
But my point is, we don't have to market anything. The area markets itself.
So let me just.
But no, wait, I have one more question. When they say you should go marketing, do you have anything to sell them?
There's a lot in this area to draw
Oh, really?
stores in.
A lot.
I've already listed
You and
2
I
of
will
them.
talk about it. I want you to tell me what's available, where somebody can put a restaurant.
I'm not naive enough
Put a
to think
strip
I
mall.
can change your
All
mind.
right, hey,
We're gonna move
That's
forward.
what I'm
We'll just
trying
let
to
RC,
we'll just let RC talk about this, because we could go back and forth till midnight. So
Before we get into this, just one final question for me, and then I won't say any more until the next topic comes up. What is the plan for growth for East Cocalico Township? Do we have a growth plan in place right now?
Can I answer that by watching the slides?
I don't want to go back to 2019 to see what it was then.
That's
I
all
want to know
we
what
have.
it is right now.
that's all we have.
No.
That's all we have.
The core.
So we're like a business without a rudder. We have no plan to grow, so we're just going to be moved around by whatever whim the waves push us around.
No, you had a strategy. Boards change and boards decide they don't want to follow it.
That's exactly right.
How much clearer can I say that?
I hear what you're saying.
Okay?
Then
So
we as,
here it
then we
is.
as the residents failed you, because we
So-
didn't push you to stick to a plan.
So, may I answer your previous question? You said that you didn't know what this was, where it was, what it is. Here it is. Here's your comparison, detailed analysis on what we were doing from a tax rate versus year-over-year
I look forward to
inflation.
getting it from you.
Okay, here it is. What are the 4 key factors as to why East Cocalico got where it was? Okay,
Excuse
these
my
were
bad.
what? What's that?
Excuse my bad. First time I've seen this.
Okay? Those are your 4 key factors when we analyzed it very, very carefully, very antiseptically as to why we were in the position we were in. Okay? There you go. Tough decisions ahead. Okay? Cost containment, right sizing, taxes, and growth. Okay? We just can't save our, again, keep in mind, this is all the supporting documentation for the budget that was rolled out for 2019, okay? I want to find it here. Number 19. Sorry, let me find it. Liaison, number 20, to answer your question, liaison and ambassadors, 1 supervisor, 1 business owner, 1 employee for Denver Borough, Brecknock, Terry Hill, Earl Township, Ephrata Spring. Why? These were all municipalities that are having influence over our area in some way, and we on their area, because we overlap, we touch each other. We're in the corridor. That's what we have decided. Alan and Doug are back there nodding yes. 21, market liaison ambassador for residential real estate, market liaison ambassador for commercial real estate. This was all laid out, Mr. Maxwell. It's all there. Next round of focus groups is targeted for number 29, commercial projects completed within the last 5 years. If you don't do a commercial, if you don't do any kind of focus group, you don't know where your core issues are. You don't know where you need to improve. Commercial projects completed within the last 6 to 10 years, because you need to look at that data, do an overlap analysis. This was my old world, this is what I used to do. So it's there. But again, boards change, politics changes, and things don't progress because there just isn't appetites, there's no need, there's political pressures not to progress them, quite frankly. That's why they don't proceed.
Yes, sir.
Doug Macklin, I agree with what, I was on the board when we did all that. And the next year, it quit. It went away. And it goes back to what RC said, you got new people on the board. Jeff was new. It went away. We had a 5-year plan in place, and RC has asked that question, I don't know how many times. Why don't we have a 5-year plan? What's with this board? You're just rolling and pulling with the punches. You know, you get hit and knocked down, you get back up and say, gee, what happened? There's no plan whatsoever, none.
But to your point though, he was the new one, there was still another sitting supervisor,
That's
so
right.
the majority still could have pushed it if they wanted to.
And it did go that way, 2-1. I mean, that's the majority on a 3-man board, so
We still got nowhere.
that's right, exactly right.
Yes, ma'am.
Hold on. March of 2020, COVID happened,
Right.
disrupted
Exactly
everything in this building and in this township
Okay.
for at least a year. And we were struggling to get back on our feet for some time after that. So not to make excuses, but that's the reality that we all as a community and everybody in this room face.
And I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you, but it's been mentioned in this meeting by any number of those board members up there, we continually kick the can down the road. And I'm gonna go back to something that we haven't talked about for a long time. 2 things, and I don't want to drag them out. Salt shed was mentioned tonight, that's been kicked down the road. There's money from the federal government to build it.
What else?
Hang on, and the roundabout.
I mean, you're kicking all this stuff down the road, you're not doing anything.
No offense, but we can, I mean, the agenda's a little short, but we'll talk about that in public comment, just so we
I
stay on
understand.
track.
I don't wanna drag it out.
And please, just so I mentioned, please stop shouting out. If you're gonna talk, wait till I tell you to, then you can say your name for the meeting minutes. We're not at the circus, okay? Yes,
I
ma'am.
just, one more word on this whole, why does
Promise?
everybody?
You promise?
Sue, why do people go to Ephrata? Listen, I'm telling you, it's the big box store and demographics. Nobody talks about the demographics. Check them out. When you look at Ephrata Township, Ephrata Borough, we don't even come close. Do you remember years ago when Benderson, and every so often Tony would sit up here and go, well, Benderson called and I told him we have a couple more building permits. Like they were looking for more demographics before they came? I mean, I didn't understand that.
I wasn't around.
Another question, Better.
Lorraine called. Many years ago, or when Rick Stouffer started building his first mini strip, or whatever you wanna call it, strip mall in Ephrata, I had confronted him and asked him why he will not come to East Cocalico Township. And his words were, it takes too long to get anything approved in East Cocalico Township. And unfortunately, that's the reputation our township has with builders.
I want to add to that comment. Slide I have right here. If you look at item number 7, 8, and 9. Comprehensive plan, initial review for the business leaders and coordinate with the residents. We have a comprehensive plan, but we have never done one ourselves. I'm sorry, I'm going to say this again. I've been saying it for 6 years. What do we want to be when we grow up? And when I ask that question, I get a lot of residents that are very angry at me. But what do we want to be when we grow up? That's what we're discussing right now. And I agree with Lorenzo. These are very, very, very critical decisions. Because if we get this wrong, we'll pay the tax for it. Okay? The other one, Lorraine, 8, zoning, review of all zoning and recommendations to facilitate, streamline, or eliminate items. We had started that process. We sat down with Becker Engineering and we started looking along 272. There were how many times do you see a plan that comes in? And what we were doing was, there was a requirement to put a sidewalk on one side of 272, and it went through the sidewalk to nowhere. You know, we started looking at that, okay? Item number 9, planning. Recommendations to facilitate, streamline, or eliminate items. And I forgot, I had the example in there. Sidewalks along the 272 floor. But then engineering comes in, and we come in and we sit with them, and if you take a look at when the plan reviews come in, there's a lot of us deciding, saying, well, engineering says we don't need this, we really don't need this, we don't need this, but they gotta go through the checklist because it's in our requirements, to your point, right? So, I'm gonna say this, it's just me. Is anybody surprised why government is so, come on, so muddled in bureaucracy and paperwork? And, you know, this right here is, I've heard it. I talked to engineers, I talked to attorneys, I talked to developers from here to New Jersey. Yeah, Doug, we had some heart-to-heart, Alan, we had some heart-to-heart conversations, and our reputation was not good. Right? For whatever reason, that's why you always see me say, for whatever reason. I wasn't here long enough to know the history, for whatever reason.
So why don't we start now moving forward with implementing some changes that are gonna better us? And if that means getting rid of the learner or just cutting down on who gets the learner, then let it be. We have to do something.
We're trying. That's why we're having the discussion. Yes, sir.
Justin Berkert, so right on that slide, you had in there about EMS strategization. 2 points. With the
helipad, and now in East Cocalico, we have emergency health services, but it's being held up by the township. Even though our slogan is community first, I just want to implement that a little bit.
Can you get into a little bit more detail? Well, like, how are they holding it up? How's the township holding it up?
Zoning issues, or they're being asked to jump through hoops.
You're specifically talking about the helipad? Okay. I don't know where that stands. I haven't seen anything else from them, so. I knew they had a temporary approval of the RVs, and the helicopter just showed up one day, and they said it was staying there for good for now, and
Temporary use and occupancy allowance for the use.
that's where I left it. I don't
I
know.
was told recently that they have engaged the services of an engineer to prepare a land development plan. This item will be on your agenda 2 weeks tonight for another request for another 90-day extension for the temporary use allowance.
It's an opportunity to ask them on push status. But we don't have any pending applications from them.
No.
But this resident's asking about us working with them to, I guess, not go through the whole land development plan, or?
We don't, nobody's asked us that.
Okay. Is that what you were trying to get to?
I was just trying to see where the process is at.
Okay. Well, as of now, we have nothing, except for, just in a time extension to leave things the way they are. So I guess at our next meeting, that may come up. I have not seen anything yet. All right.
Getting back to where,
Yeah.
that's where it all started.
47 minutes later, right?
Good
Good
discussion.
thing for a short agenda, right?
That's fine.
That's fine.
I don't know.
Good discussion.
Yeah.
It's
I
conversation.
don't know that this is one we want to rush.
I've been thinking about it way too long. Way too long. And Mrs. Mackley just brought up a great point. I don't know I can make a motion owning commercial property in the township.
So, anything you do tonight would not be making a decision. The only thing you could do tonight is point the direction in which you want to consider to go, which means formalize the process by seeing what an amended ordinance looks like. Set a hearing. At that hearing, you consider what you want to do. And the choices could be leave it the way it is or make a change.
I think his question is still on the floor. At that point in time, would he have a vote, or would he have to recuse himself?
Oh, no, he would not have to recuse himself. So the rule is when the action affects the entire township, like adopting a zoning ordinance, adopting a tax, adopting a LRTA, the individual supervisors are not excluded because potentially each of the supervisors is affected in some way by the comprehensiveness of that act. The Ethics Act prevents an elected or appointed official from acting on something that is specific to that official, but not to something that is comprehensive to the entire township.
It's multiple individuals.
Yeah, I mean, everybody is affected by the tax, the zoning ordinance, the effects of a LRTA.
Yes, sir.
One more, I promise. Doug Macklin. My suggestion would be, and I think you all three have said the same thing. You, A, don't want to see warehousing, you'd like to see commercial.
right? Is that clear? I mean, is that what
Somewhat.
you're basic? Then, when these guys come in and wanna rezone, you just say, go away. Go away, don't even bother pestering us with it, because we wanna keep our zones the way they are. We're not gonna change commercial to a warehouse to suit you, and then the next guy comes in and you don't do it for him.
That's what I said, I think 35
I know
minutes
that,
ago.
and I'm trying to verify that and back you up.
There's several others of properties that are already zoned light industrial where that can come in and they would be eligible for a limit.
I said that too.
Yeah, he did.
So that would be.
The cassette is on fast forward. So I'll make a motion to advertise for, a hearing and, to get an ordinance to, discuss the,
We'd be advertising.
Advertise an ordinance to, so you don't need an alternate ordinance to leave it the way it is. So to present an alternate choice to the board, you need the draft of one new ordinance. And it's only really a pointed amendment to remove the industrial properties from it, so.
or remove it all at once. So we could have leave it, remove light industrial, or take, get rid of it.
Or repeal.
That way we want, I'm saying that, so just in case the board changes their mind then, we don't have to re-advertise.
So your motion is to prepare for prepare and advertise a legislative hearing in which there would be three choices. Leave it the way it is, remove industrial, repeal the order.
That's my motion.
Just as a point of interest or question, why would it be necessary to make it part of leave it as it is?
Well, that would ultimately be, we wouldn't be doing anything to prepare for that except advertising the hearing.
You could change our mind.
And at that hearing, the motion would be to not adopt either of the other two ordinances.
And just say, thank you for showing up,
And it
and
needs
just have
to-
another discussion.
Right. Also, no motion
Leaves it as it is.
leaves it as it is.
That's what.
Somebody makes a motion, it dies for lack of a second, no new motion is made. We wait a respectable period, and then we adjourn the hearing without any action.
And think about it, if you're not gonna say leave it as is, that implies you've already made a decision.
I'm just wondering about the options in the motion.
But it implies you've already made a
Wondering
decision.
about the options in the motion.
Motion's on the table.
So you've made the motion as Matt.
I'm not rewinding it, he already said it. Motion's on the table.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Great conversation. That's fun. Moving on, local service tax collection, Tommy.
I'm recommending the board consider transferring the collection responsibilities for the local services tax to the Lancaster County Tax Collection Bureau from the tax collector, making this recommendation for reasons. The first is a lower commission rate. The township presently pays a commission rate of 5% on dollars paid for this tax. The Lancaster County Tax Collection Bureau charges a 1.5% commission rate. Second, the potential for additional revenue. The Collection Bureau utilizes data it has in its collection of earned income tax, and specific identifying employers, marrying that information to the folks who are submitting LST receipts, and determining if there are employers who are paying the earned income tax but not paying the LST. Taking a look at the collection yield on the dollars we're receiving. If everyone were to max out at $52 a year based on the number of persons employed in the township, we're yielding about 55%. And a quick review, the post at the Lancaster County Tax Collection Bureau says that the average yield they expect to be around 57 to 66%. So while there's no guarantee, we'll find employers out there who are not paying their fair share of the local service tax. The numbers do suggest that that might be the case. And for every 1% additional collection we have, the township would realize, just based on our current budgeted receipt for this year, about $3,500. The third reason is better customer service. With Board will recall at our meeting last month, there was discussion about past township collection processes for tax collection. And one of the reasons noted for making a change in the township at that time was better customer service. The Tax Collection Bureau, since I've been here, has been collecting the earned income tax. We have not received a complaint regarding their collection practices from any resident that I know of. But unfortunately, the same can't be said for the current tax collector. I've been here a very short period of time. I have received several dozen complaints regarding specifically the lack of response. The most recent is an email I received about 2 hours ago. In my last municipality, which I served 7 years, I don't recall receiving one complaint, not one, from the tax collector. In fact, she had her office in her home. We spoke on the phone 2 or 3 times a year. We emailed 2 or 3 times a year. I never met her. Just did her job without issue. And lastly, number 4, better oversight. The township, in that we levy an earned income tax, is a member of the board of directors of sorts for the Lancaster County Tax Collection Bureau, meaning we have direct oversight over those collection efforts. So if we see a problem with our EIT collection or the LST, being able to sit on board with a representative from the township appointed to do so puts us in a very good position to oversee that operation.
Is that anything?
I guess, Matt, my question would be, it's board discretion on who would collect this tax, or?
Yes, under the second-class township code, there's shall and may in relation to the tax collector. There are certain taxes in the shall category that shall be collected by the tax collector. There are certain taxes in the may category, specifically everything under the Local Tax Enabling Act, which is kind of a potpourri of taxes that a municipality may choose to levy. The second-class township code specifically says that the tax collector may be designated as the collection entity, not shall be.
I guess the light and hydrant fund is one of those.
Correct.
May and not shall.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's all about saving some taxpayer money. With that, you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, 5% to 1.5%, that's obviously 3.5%. I don't got any math for everybody. You said we're only yielding 55. They think we should be around 57 to 66.
Yes.
The difference is what, $3,500 that we're not yielding, or?
Now, for every percent you can raise that collection rate, you're going to yield about $3,500.
Every percent.
Every percent.
So cost-wise, we'd be saving over 10,000.
The difference in commissions based on what we budgeted this year for local services tax would translate to an approximate $12,000 savings per year.
Yes, sir.
Doug Macklin, new subject. 57 to 66%, is that the best they can do, Tommy? 66% doesn't sound like.
Yeah, there are a number of exemptions in the law. So for example, if you earn less than $12,000 a year, you don't have to pay the LSP.
Okay, I understand.
There are other exemptions as well. So the question is, when you subtract the exemptions, where should you be? And according to the folks down at the county courthouse, they think we should be at those numbers I just noted.
And they have a better handle on what businesses have what employees working? Is that what you're saying? And how are they doing that? I'm just curious.
Because they're also collecting the EIT.
Okay, all right.
So they know, I can share the numbers with you, there are
No.
There are 535 employers in the township by their count. There are 11,890 employees. Those are folks with unique social security numbers working in the township.
That's not bad for a township that only has 10,000 residents.
10,767.
Thank you, I knew it was right there. That's fine.
That was one of my first meetings.
Thank you.
You got anything, RC? Tommy, what would that motion be?
The board would consider a motion to direct the preparation of an ordinance affecting this change, and also to direct the township solicitor to review the agreement required to be entered into with the Tax Collection Bureau.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Motion is second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thanks for that information, Tommy. Moving on, healthcare insurance plan. I think RC wanted that on the agenda, right?
That's correct. Tommy, did we get our insurance rates for this year yet?
You did.
Where we stand?
We're still looking at the numbers, but I can tell you where the premiums stand for the types of coverage. So we have two premiums. We have a premium that is paid for single coverage, and we have a premium that is paid for family coverage. Just looking at medical, dental, and vision, for single coverage, the increase is approximately 9%. So we'd be going from what we currently pay per month, which is about $1,020 to about $1,100. For family coverage, the increase is approximately 12%. So we would be going from approximately $2,340 to $2,620. There are some other factors here in determining what additional costs the township will pay. Of course, there are contributions that are made for healthcare coverage from employees, retirees, amounts differ, uniform and non-uniform as well, plus rate stabilization credits that will not be available this year. So to answer your question, I received a big spreadsheet with lots of numbers about 1 hour before the meeting began this evening. I have to go through all those numbers.
No, that's right.
You're not ready? What? Come on.
No,
So it's going to take a little time to go through the spreadsheet.
no, the reason I was asking is they usually have that sometime September-ish.
I was kidding, by the way.
I know.
Any comments or questions? All right. Moving on, interfund transfers and list of bills and payroll.
Okay, I guess that's me. We have a general fund bank account list of bills for the week of September 28th of 2023 in the amount of $116,835.66. Any questions on that list?
Doug Mackley, check number 64518, I think it is for $1 million. No, it's 109,000.
Denver Road Bridge.
Okay,
Tidlow.
okay, that's what I thought.
There's, well, it's listed there, yeah. So it's, yeah, there's still quite a few more payments like that for several more years.
Yeah.
I think the balance was somewhere around 600 and something thousand.
Oh, we got a real good, I think the interest rate
Yeah.
was 2.75 or something.
Yeah, it's less than two. Yeah. Some change. Anybody else? Seeing none, I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, general fund bank account list of bills for the week of October 5th of 2023 in the amount of $115,887.40. Any questions on that list? Seeing none, I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. Motion is second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Then we move on to the liquid funds bank account. List of bills in the amount of $390,527.95 for the week of September 28th, 2023. This is a point of note that was for things in Cribble House for repayment that was done in various spots in the township. So, any questions there? Seeing none, I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. Motion is second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Then we move on to the light fund bank account list of bills in the amount of $14,454.71. That was for the week of October 5th, 2023. Any questions there? Seeing none, I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. Motion is second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Then we move on to electronic payment list of bills. With pay period of September 10th, 2023 to September 23rd of 2023 in the amount of $91,454.66. I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. Motion is second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
That's all we have there tonight. We're researching some interfund bank transfers to gain some of this higher interest rates that are out there now on funds that are designated for labor use. So that's coming probably next week. Yes. So that's treasurer's report for today.
Thank you. Informational items. Just wanted to let everyone know the township building expansion looks like it should be done probably another week and a half, hopefully. They ran into some hiccups, so that's almost done finally. And I wanted to take the time to thank Troy Texter. During the process, I've seen him out here. He removed all the plantings along the new sidewalks and stuff, and he loves plants, and he removed them all, make sure they weren't in their way, and now he's going to replant everything around the building and add new things, and I think it just makes the building look really nice. We'd obviously be paying someone to do it if it wasn't for him, and it was nice for Labor Day, put a whole bunch of flags out, and I think he does a really, really nice job. I know I thank him and he says, it's all good, but I wanted to publicly thank him, so.
I'll second that. He's been doing it for years and even spending some of his own money at times without asking for a reimbursement. So, Troy, thank you very much for what you do.
Anything else? New business? No? Old business, Act 172 tax credit for the first responders. I will note, I'm not quite ready to do anything yet. There was a lot of discussion at our last meeting. I actually sent an email yesterday to Exeter Township and Gettysburg Borough. Those were the two examples, that's the word I was looking for.
Municipalities that provide
That
information.
Kelly provided, just looking at feedback on what they did, how they did it, just process how they even got to that. I have not got anything back yet. I was just curious. That's why I reached out.
So L&P reported last week, and I looked at the municipal website, that Strasburg Borough has directed that an ordinance be prepared for consideration of adoption. You might want to see what Strasburg is doing.
So that'll be published, obviously.
At some point.
Yeah.
I looked at their agenda for September 13, and it was on the agenda to consider moving forward. And then L&P reported that they did. The borough.
Good job for you, Matt. You did your homework.
I read the newspaper.
That's right.
You'd be surprised how many people don't read the newspaper.
Yeah, I was hoping maybe Kelly would be here, Councilor would be here at the meeting tonight. You know, he did a very thorough presentation and provided multiple examples. The one thing that was not brought up was, you know, what the feedback from the municipalities that have put this in place. You know, has it attracted new volunteers? Has it not? You know, where are we? I think it's important moving forward to know, you know, what the experiences these other municipalities have found with these procedures have been put in place. You know, I want to be real clear on what our expectations would be if we're going to do that. So,
One thing,
I think that follows maybe a little bit what you were saying. Or...
One thing I want to add is, because last meeting we had some discussion, I think Mr. Mackley and Mr. Burton were talking about it. You know, the word fire tax came up as well. And I think Mr. Burton had brought up about attracting new volunteers. I put thought into that, and I don't think $700 is going to attract more volunteers. I mean, we're still far from it. If I'd like to move forward with this, my idea would be, that's a way of kind of saying thank you. Whether it does attract more people, good. If it doesn't, we're at least showing appreciation for the people that do wake up in the middle of the night or leave their job and answer calls. I really wouldn't think it's an idea of bringing new people in, because let's face it, you know, that age group, 18 to 25, the less they have on their plate, the better. Not everyone was wired the same. So I highly doubt we'll be bringing more volunteers. But again, I brought this up at the last meeting. You know, if we don't decide to do this, maybe we relook as a board at the, you know, we're going into budget season, the contribution we give to the fire companies. If we don't want to go back on 72. but I really think we ought to do something. And something else that came to mind, because we were talking fire tax. I think it was at the beginning when I first started as a supervisor, RC had a plan, I forget what you called it. You had a slideshow of a $75 credit or something like that to the fire volunteers or something like that. Forget what you called it.
It was a model. The model was related to how do we thank the volunteers that are doing the work directly.
And at the time, the model was $75. Obviously, that wasn't the
That
number.
was
It was
strictly
just
for
there,
model.
yeah, it was just there for modeling purposes. However, it just popped in mind, I was looking at old notes, and why wouldn't we have considered that a fire tax a year and a half ago? It's kind of the same thing. But nobody brought that up a year and a half ago, but now we're bringing up, it's gonna be a fire tax now. And I'm not saying it against you, by no means, right? I'm just saying it for discussion, because the word fire tax was brought up in the audience.
Never brought up, because the minute I brought it up, nobody was interested in pursuing it from the first proposal.
I don't think we got any interest from the volunteers themselves either.
I just said no one was interested in pursuing it.
Well, that could go either way, the board or volunteers, or, you know, could go either way. I think it was both, really, the Act 172, obviously, they came to us. Couple other municipalities or boroughs are talking about it. That was also a year and a half ago. Now we're moving into 2024. As we know, times keep getting tough, but I don't know. I mean, it's obviously a board decision. Do we up the contribution to the fire companies? Do we put this in place and see how it goes? And hopefully the school and surrounding municipalities and boroughs jump in as well? Or do we just leave it the way it is? Again, this was brought up at the beginning of the meeting. I brought it up. We always love to start conversations, and then we kind of forget about it. And this isn't one of those things I want to forget about, because there's a lot of emotions in this. You know, there's fire people here too, volunteers, and you're playing with their feelings, you're playing with their, you know, their pocket, their mind. Do we really care about the volunteers, or don't we? If we do, we gotta do, in my opinion, we have to do something. If we don't, let's not talk about it no more. Let's not put it on the agenda, and let's not keep putting salt on the wound.
Well, I think for me, I need some more information. What have the other municipalities done that have enacted this? What have they seen? What would they change? What are they going to change?
Can I interrupt you a second? What have you done to gather that information?
I've spoken to the manager just about that very subject.
Last meeting, RC said we still have a lot of questions. Why haven't we got those questions or concerns and done something with it? Why are we keeping it in our minds, in our guts, till we get here and look like idiots? We're stalling the process.
Lorenzo, I take exception to that. I'm gonna defend you. When do you want to make a decision? You want to make a decision when you have 1% of the information? You just want to jump in and make a decision?
I want all the information, but you guys ain't doing nothing to get it.
The way you're presenting this right now is very similar to the letter. You don't have facts, you don't have data, you have questions, things aren't modeled, we don't have enough information. So if you'd like to back up, Jeff, we'll vote on the letter right now, and heck, we'll see what happens in 2 or 3 years with the tax base.
So you're saying I'm jumping to conclusions?
No, I'm just defending Jeff in that these are things that have to be very well thought out.
Well, sorry, I want to try to push things along. I've thought about, I don't know about you guys, I'm a volunteer here just like you guys. I got elected here, and I think about this place all the time. I think about what I want East Cocalico to be.
So you've thought about it. You've thought about the question related to the following. If a firefighter lives at home, and he's with his parents because you're looking to attract younger firefighters, that firefighter doesn't own the home.
But he'll get the earned income credit. He can't
He'll
get both.
but he only gets an earned income credit, he doesn't get the real estate credit. So when he looks at the other firefighter that's next to him, will that create animosity?
That's not your problem, that's their problem. You're still giving back to them. You're giving them two options to collect $700 or whatever the number is. If they don't own a home and they rent but they work here, I mean.
So we put a program in place regardless and without thinking of the consequential problems it could create. We just ignore any of that. We don't even ask those questions.
You could ask a million questions. You gotta make a decision. It's not my fault Joe Schmo don't own a house but works at Redner's.
But you gotta ask some basic questions.
We have.
Such as those.
And if they run in the neighboring companies, then they don't get any of that either, because we specifically said they gotta run with one of our 3 companies.
I think that's where gathering some information from the municipalities that have it in place, getting feedback. What have you seen with this program? Does it create that kind of animosity? Have they seen it in their fire company? Is that a non-issue?
So do me a favor, moving forward, you guys gather whatever facts or information you guys want, and please bring it to the table.
I mean, we did collect some time ago many examples of these ordinances. You want some in addition to the ones we've collected?
Just feedback from the municipalities that put something in place.
Well,
can that be an action item for a board member to contact a municipal figure in these municipalities to report back to the board what the findings were?
I can telephone my counterparts in these municipalities. Elected folks don't want to speak with elected folks. I won't call elected folks in another municipality. If you wanted to speak to your counterpart, sure, but I'll speak to my counterparts.
I'm waiting on a response back. I didn't call the manager, I emailed supervisor. Out of my stupidity, that's what I did. And I'm actually sorry for not, I didn't even tell you. But I didn't talk to a manager, I'm talking to another counterpart.
Yeah.
Same thing if I see him at a PSAT, say, hey, how you doing, what's going on? Do your due diligence.
I'm good with that.
Let's talk, that's qualitative, let's talk a simple quantitative one that we don't know. What are the indirects, what are the indirect costs associated with the program like this?
With the $700 number and the number we got back from the fire companies, I think it was $53,000.
That's a direct cost. What's the indirect cost? The indirect costs are associated with maintaining, administering this type of program. Who does it? How is it done? How much time is required? Again, I never said if I'm for or against it. I'm asking the important questions that we need to know before we make these decisions.
We have that answer already. They said it. The
We
chiefs of each company, it was written.
I can speak.
It was written in our packets months ago. The chiefs of the company are gonna validate it and send it to the manager.
So what's the indirect cost for the manager? Who audits that?
So I can speak to the administrative side of the process, because I did it for 5 years.
Okay.
So I can talk about that process and the same time that it took to jumble the pieces of paper.
So
What is that?
who audits it?
Who audits,
Who audits the members, the actual, we
so
now have.
who identifies a qualifying volunteer? Correct. That's the fire chief.
And it's a notarized, it was notarized before it came to the, that's what we had talked about. It was gonna be a notarized sheet signed off by the chief of each company before it makes it into our door.
So at the end of each year, the fire chief would send a notarized list of qualifying volunteers, those volunteers that meet the criteria. My position takes the list and puts it on a board agenda, the board, the governing body would ratify the list of qualifying volunteers. After that, I would prepare a tax certificate that is given to each volunteer that is submitted with his or her tax returns for earned income tax. Something similar for real estate taxes, like you will recall, real estate taxes are reimbursed. Folks who qualify for the credit actually have to pay their real estate taxes and then come back in with the receipt of taxes paid, and the township does the reimbursement.
How do you handle volunteers that are only renting?
They only get the part of the income tax.
Okay, so once again, how do you know that there's no animosity there? How do you handle volunteers that have multiple properties?
Do they give you a copy of the tax bill when they come in?
Yeah,
So no tax bill, no real estate.
well, one of the things to consider, if you're considering both, right now, I think it's 350 and 350. You might want to consider doing 700 a quarter. So give everybody the same opportunity and just in safe order.
And that's my point. These things, these details have not been thought through. And how do you handle firefighters that have multiple properties? Let's say they own two, they have a primary house and a rental.
Well, that's where
It has to be on
the number comes in too.
But yeah,
$700.
the law says owner-occupied. So if you're a landlord, those don't qualify.
Yeah, but we're also not gonna go make sure they live in one of their properties, not the other. That's why we quantify with the $700 number. We're putting a limit to it, right? There was a question? Don, go ahead, you had your hand up half an hour ago.
Donnie Stover, I look back, this was on the agenda for May 18th meeting. So I think you had plenty of time to do your research. So when you say you still need more information, it's 6 months. You know, we just keep kicking this down the road, so 6 months you should have had enough time to get information.
Well, I wanted it on the agenda for discussion. If I wanted to do a vote, I would have done a vote 2 months ago. I want a discussion because last meeting, multiple people said it's a fire tax. Now you're telling me to call a vote. Yes, sir.
Jeff Garner, just to address RC's question, I don't think it would be for the board to worry about the animosity between volunteers. If one's gonna get X amount of money, it's just that individual's lifestyle. They may not own property, they may still be living at home. You can't worry about that. We won't worry about that either. We would appreciate any volunteer that comes in, and it's just that the animosity, I think I can speak for the ones that have talked about it, you're not gonna have it, because it's like my lifestyle doesn't justify a house, or my lifestyle doesn't justify rental property. You're not gonna have that. People are gonna do it for what they wanna do. You're not gonna have the animosity. Guys aren't gonna be looking at like, oh, hey, I got my tax credit check here, what did you guys, you're not gonna have it. I don't see you're gonna have that, and it shouldn't be for the board to worry about,
And just, this motion, if this even happens, there's a lot of things we still have to narrow out, discuss, right, all the details. This is just, it would be to move forward, and most likely it's probably gonna, if it goes that way, it would be implemented next year, not now. I mean, I'm sure it takes time to, and there's gonna be a lot more questions, a lot more details. And at the end of the day, if we say, we're not doing it, we're not doing it, right? Yes, sir.
Doug Macklin, just listening to you and Jeff. This thing, it sounds like, I know RC brought it up, but it has nothing to do with whether you rent or own a house. It's about fire protection. And that's what we seem to be missing the point on here. I know Dan and I both, he was sitting here and I was sitting behind him, and last meeting when he said $700, that's embarrassing. It's freaking embarrassing. You're telling me that guy's life's only worth $700? RC said earlier, what's the direct or indirect cost? And I'll go back to it 100 times. Paid fire company. Paid fire company. You're gonna continue down the road. We're fortunate that we have the people that we do that want to volunteer. we're sitting at home eating supper tonight, and Williamstown Fire Company went off, the siren went off, and I said, well, somebody ain't getting supper tonight. You know, as people, we just kind of forget all about that. I mean, well, these guys, they'll just show up. You know, they're putting their life on the line every darn time they go out there. And yes, it needs to be thought through, but I don't think it needs to be tied to, do you own property, don't you own property, do you live here and volunteer somewhere else? You know, he's either volunteer or he's not. That's all I'll say.
But, so you're saying if he lives here and he runs, for example, with Denver, are you saying that person should qualify?
No, I'm saying if you have volunteers in this township, it shouldn't matter whether they own or rent their house. Shouldn't matter. You're taking care of the volunteers and or the fire company. That's what it's all about.
And my goal, this is my goal, because what we have in our packet, the 350 and all the criteria, that's something I brought up, right? They came in, I think it was a little over $1,000, if I remember right, the proposal. But my thought process was, let's start here and let's see if we can get the school district to bite in as well, because let's be honest, the school taxes are what they are, and if they match for these volunteers, the school is on fire, who's gonna respond? They are. So my thought process is take care of your volunteers, hopefully the school ties into it as well, and you know, that'll give them what they, not what they deserve, but what they wanted in the beginning. Because you can't, these things, to volunteers that risk their life for you, me, and everybody else, there is no price to pay them back. There never will be for our police and everybody else. There is no price. But again, it's a way of saying thank you. Any little bit helps. Just like, and I'm trying to not go off topic, but there's a food drive. You either show up with a whole carton of stuff or you show up with a can of tomato soup. That can of tomato soup is gonna make a difference. And if we truly love our community, love our volunteers, and want to do better, every little bit helps. That's the way I look at it.
And just remember, all the more people, all the more houses, all the more buildings, all the more warehouses, you have less volunteers than ever. And those people still have to take care of all that new stuff.
Yep, and the volunteers are less.
That's right.
And that's why it's good to have great relationships with all the surrounding municipalities, because today I might need you, tomorrow you may need me. If we don't have enough manpower, we gotta call them in. And that's it. It's really key in building relationships with everybody across the board. If Acme catches fire, our 3 fire companies aren't putting that fire out. There's probably 20 of them responding from all over.
No, but we got a big ladder truck.
That ladder truck ain't putting that fire out by
And
itself.
I watch that go to Ephrata. That ladder truck goes past my house to go to Ephrata now.
They use ours, we use theirs, I guess, right? But it's good to have good working relationships with every municipality next to us and beyond. But do I think $700 is gonna bring new volunteers? No. I'm not even gonna advertise it that way.
And I know it's a starting point, I understand that, you gotta plug a number in somewhere. Or we'll be continually kicking this can down the road over 35 or 50 or 75 or 700, you know, pick a number and settle on it and move forward.
Any other comments, questions? Yes, sir.
Alan Maxwell, just one thought, just like in anything else, any business, in order to put something into place, sets a date on it. If you're gonna do something, work a plan, just put a date on it. If you wanna have details together, say the next board meeting, you have to have the details together so we can go forward, create a motion to move forward or not move forward. We've been going on since May with it, and it's great to gather information, but without a date to say this is our goal, it's a drop dead date, we either have the information or we don't, we can't make a decision. And we keep saying we gotta gather information, but if we don't put a hard date on it, that this is what we're gonna do, we'll never have a plan in place.
A hard date's not gonna do anything, because I've already tried that. And every time this is on the agenda, we come up with new information and new whatever.
The last meeting, I asked a question, who's won a model to show me how many volunteers within a game? Worst case, best case, and then educated guess in the middle.
But I'm not doing this to gain volunteers.
But I thought that was the purpose
I
of the
wouldn't
program.
even
That was
focus on it.
the whole premise of this program is to get more volunteers from day one.
That's how Kelly sold it to us, maybe.
No, sir.
It was discussed.
That was the whole basis of this program.
It was discussed.
And if they're able to, great, but I'm not running on that. I'm not gonna go out on that limb, because it ain't happening. They proved me wrong, awesome.
We don't know. Maybe in Gettysburg it did. Maybe in a couple of years they gained 10 volunteers.
Yes, sir.
Jeff Garner, just a reminder, the goal is to start the township level, and from there, you buy in the other townships and the other municipalities, and you go to the school board. You need to buy in from the township, the municipality level, and then you go to the school board. That was the game. It's in the binder, it's in the packet. That's, the information's there. So the end goal was to go to the school board, but we need buy-in from the township first. Contact Kelly again, it's all in the packet, it's all in the information. The end goal was going to the school.
Understood, but this program was presented initially as the premise of the entire program was to get more volunteers.
So the purpose of the act is to acknowledge the value and the absence of any public cost for volunteer fire protection, nonprofit emergency medical services provided by active volunteers, and 2, encourage individuals to volunteer or for former volunteers to consider rejoining. So there's a dual purpose for it.
Gain and retain.
Acknowledge and encourage.
Yes, sir.
Dan Burton, I talked about this at the last meeting. We have a much different, as we talked about demographic, we have a much different cultural situation than we've had 20 years ago. When I was a kid and I was 18, 19, it was an honor to go serve as a volunteer firefighter. I want to be a police officer, serve in the military, so on and so forth. We are not going to gain any new volunteers. We're not going to gain any new volunteers to our fire departments for $700. I am in full support of our fire departments, our police departments, our military. You know, quite honestly, that's what keeps us rolling, right? The $700 is not going to do anything. Some of the numbers I'd like to see before we actually did anything with this or voted on it. We heard last meeting, first due. We have 6 or 7 departments that are first due in our township, not just the 3 that are in our township. So if I put numbers together and we're looking at $53,000 at where we're at right now, hopefully we gain volunteers, but if we're at $53,000 right now, I think the number was a 2.5% increase in taxes just to make up for that shortfall in taxes that were, you know, I hate to call it a shortfall, but giving back, you got to rob Peter to pay Paul.
We don't know that yet. We're in budget season for next year. It's coming up soon. Could be money in the budget for that, no tax increase.
Okay.
That was just an
Thank you. Gotcha. Thank you. So either way, if it's $53,000, it's got to come from somewhere. We either cut it from some other place we're already spending it in the budget, or we got to figure out where we're going to get it from. Let's just say it was 2%. Those same volunteers are going to realize a tax increase as well. So it's less than $700 at that point then too. The other problem we have is we have first due from departments from townships surrounding us. So now we have departments that are asking for donations from residents of East Cocalico because they're first due from West Cocalico or Ephrata Township, or whatever it might be, plus they're getting taxed higher for East Cocalico. So already those are some of the monetary quantifications that we're talking about. Those residents that don't even get served by East Cocalico fire departments are going to be paying double. We're going to see a decrease in donations to those other fire departments that are first due for a resident within East Cocalico because they don't even get served by East Cocalico. So there's so many things that go into it, and we've been sitting here and we're talking about this since May, and I've heard many of the chiefs even discuss, you know, all of our guys don't do this for the money, obviously, right? And we all want to thank them in some way. You even mentioned maybe giving the departments more money, figuring it out. I don't know if robbing Peter to pay Paul, charging everybody more taxes to give them a tax break makes much sense. If our end goal was to gain, we're not going to gain through this program. If our end goal is to maintain, then we figure out a way to maintain. And I think the only way to know all this is to get the fire departments together, even from our surrounding townships. And that's what I've been saying. I don't know how we do that. We made a motion to have a public hearing. Maybe we should have a public hearing on what we want to do with our local fire departments. And maybe we figure out what the community wants to do for our fire departments. I mean, obviously you guys are up there representing the community, but I don't think our community has any idea. And our fire departments are here. I've heard so many different sides in these meetings about this. I don't even know where our fire departments stand. Now that's my fault. I haven't talked to them, but I don't know. I think the only way to really do it is to have a meeting with the fire departments and figure out what they want to do. And that includes the first due of East Cocalico, not just.
Our last regional meeting, I think it was the president of the Adamstown Borough that brought this up. And I think president of Denver Borough Council brought it up as well, about volunteers, EMS, fire companies. It was just a discussion, but it hasn't gone anywhere either. I think we have one next month. Is that when our next regional meeting is? This month, and we're in October already.
And forgive me, one more thing if I may. Mr. Cream said something about if you are giving tax breaks to residents, do they become not employees of the township, but there's some kind of, wasn't there some kind of precedent that you were mentioning?
That was actual compensation. That Emmaus Borough was paying actual compensation to volunteers.
Okay, and giving taxes directly from township is not considered compensation at that point, tax breaks?
If it's done under this act, it is not.
Okay.
If it's done the other way, then they can show up and say, hey, thank you, now we're gonna unionize.
That's what happened in Emmaus.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So I just think there's a lot of factors, and we talk about it up here, but I still.
So again, this could be to be continued, ... We can talk about it at our regional meeting. They're open to the public, so anybody's welcome to come and speak and say what you want to say. Everyone's going to be there, including the school board. I know that's going to be my topic, and not the whole school board. There's normally just a few representatives from each community around us. But they're open to the public. Feel free to stop out, talk, ask whatever you want, and everyone hears it. But if to be continued. I know I'll bring this up at our next meeting, so.
Follow through on the other municipalities that have it, whether it's you or Tony. There's information there. What have they learned from having this program in place in their municipalities?
What did it do to, I'm sorry, Dan Burton, what did it do to the township, the municipalities around them as well? What happened with their relationships? Were the other municipalities jumping on, or are they staying away from it?
And again, we're relying on them to give us factual information too. Because anybody can make something seem good and it's really not.
Yeah.
So politics, the risk you take. Cost of doing business.
Don't know whatever.
All right. Moving on to public comment, please state your name. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Letter B, fire company apparatus insurance. At this time, I think we have received one policy from Reamstown Fire Company, correct?
Yes.
And Smokestown is in contact with Kilmer, is that right? They asked for some information.
We provided loss runs for their apparatus to a fire company.
They requested that.
Yeah, the loss runs went to their potential insurance carrier.
Okay. And I guess we, obviously, not to push the subject, but will you reach out to someone at Stevens then and see where they're at with it? I know you said. Oh, well, he's been in contact, sorry, with Obi, I think, so.
Possibly, yeah, but I know that we did get a quote, and I wanna say that they told us that $5,900 a year, but we have to, it's VFIS, is who we have to go through, and they won't do just our apparatus, we have to do everything with them. So that's what I know as of now,
Building and all, you mean?
liability, everything. Yep.
Yes, sir.
Jeff Garner, Explorer Options, we had the same issue and we declined it, so we went to Harding and Yost.
Okay,
Harding and Yost is the only ones right now that will do just the apparatus.
okay.
There's another company out there, I don't remember the name, that we sat down and met with them.
I think we might have met with the same one, there was another one.
It started with P, I believe, or something like, and I forget, but we just met with them. Their rates seem a lot better, long range, but they need the building. They want the building and the apparatus, which we're willing to talk about, but we aren't in that position right now but I think our limits were Harding and Yost. We had a roadblock with that as well, so that's where we ended up.
So they end up doing package policies with the fire companies for everything.
Yeah, most of your VFISs and all your other agencies out there want to package the whole thing, and they are usually better if you look at the whole package, but there's a lot of things that you have to look into. So the rate we got from Harding and Yost, we felt was fair.
And I'm not surprised by that, Jeff, because when they do their loss assessments and they do their risk analysis, they want to see the entire company, which makes sense.
So, again, to not kick the can down the road, okay, because it's been going on for probably 4 months now, 5 months. I'd like to make a motion to give the fire companies till the end of the fiscal 2023 year to provide a copy of their coverage, their policy to the township.
You don't need a motion for that.
Well, I'm not done. Effective January 1st, 2024, if we don't have that, you're not gonna operate in the township till we have that. So we can give the manager an order to the end of 2023, we don't have to budget for it. We're going into budget season, we either gonna budget for it or not. I mean, it's a bold statement, but I don't wanna kick the can down the road.
You're coming into the holiday season, I don't know how fast these carriers can turn around in terms of reviewing all of their packages, all of their loss history. There's a lot of underwriting that goes, there's a lot of underwriting that goes in. As an old claims litigation guy, there's a lot of underwriting that goes into it. I won't agree with that.
Yes, sir.
We had a deadline before.
It was September, I think.
We had a deadline before.
It was the end of September, I think. I just want to avoid keep kicking things down the road. I want to get.
Because that was going to be our question, when's this going to take effect? Because we're being asked.
Motion's on the table as of now. So I saw another question. You raise your hand.
I was just making a comment.
Name, please.
Dan Burton. To RC's point, it does take quite a bit of time. I mean, I didn't realize there was a deadline of September already to have this in play by the fire departments, but if we're looking at right now, and we're starting right now to try to find a carrier for fire apparatus, that's a pretty big nut to carry for an underwriter, and it could take, they could sign up and there could be a 30-day waiting period before it even issues.
Well, my point is it should have started 5-6 months ago, not today.
That's not my point, but my point is, you know, if we're here today, there's no way, if you're starting today, there's no way they'll have it by the end of the year.
We're not starting today.
Not us, I meant a fire department.
Well, I don't think so. We're not at that point because Mrs. Weaver just said she actually has something in hand already, so. But they gotta shop their options. We have one policy, the other one's working on it already as well. I really think we should set a hard deadline.
Dan, I think you have one quote that they have not reviewed the package policy for the fire company. That's a big difference, and she has everything already. Because the final underwriting is only gonna be when we see the entire package and do the review.
So at the end of the day, we still got 3 more months. I know the holiday's there, but if we have good communication.
You're putting in place something in terms of eliminating our fire companies from running where it's outside their control as to how fast the carrier moves. They don't have the control of the carrier, the insurance company. I think that's a very dangerous thing to do to our fire companies.
I'm not gonna say that.
I will not.
Motion dies. I saw a hand in the back. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say for the record, we have been working on this, and I do know that my late husband Chad had requested the ongoing policy that the township had, and it did take a while to get that information, so we could mirror the policies.
You have
Just
it
for the
though, right?
record.
You
We did finally get it.
Finally,
But it
it's
did
not
take a
something
while, so
we
it
got
wasn't that we
5
weren't
months
doing
ago.
anything. Just for the record.
Okay. Thank you for that. All right. Public comment. Please state your name for non-agenda items. Yes, sir.
Doug Macklin. Since the theme of the meeting seems to be kicking the can down the road, I'll put the 2 things out again, the salt sheds and a roundabout. I haven't heard beans about either one of them, and I know you're gonna blame it on the budget and everything else, but.
I wasn't gonna blame it on the budget. The roundabout, it's kind of a dead, we haven't heard anything since our last meeting. I haven't heard one single thing from whoever was pushing it before.
Well, then maybe we ought to just say it's a done deal and forget about it. I mean, to not put an end to it, just leaves it hanging out there.
Like everything, it needs funding. It's a big nut to crack.
Well, I understand that.
And there's still options about seeking grants in the future to make that happen.
Well, I just know I was up on 222, I don't know how many times this week, and those roundabouts are nice. Because I used to drive it before they were there. And if you were coming out from Virginville or somewhere, you could have ate your lunch and your supper before you got out.
I was up there for a Kutztown soccer game and I almost got ran out of the roundabout by a tractor trailer.
It happens.
Get going, man.
The only light on 222 is a nightmare getting through. All the rest of the ones that were nightmares, put roundabouts in, and you can sail up through there, but that light is still a nightmare.
And for everyone that says that in the township, there's somebody saying,
No,
I don't want it.
That's right. Well, everybody has an opinion, and you're talking about it.
right.
In Italy, they're all roundabouts, and they're going away. And I was in Turks and Caicos over the summer, and I was driving left-handed, and it's all roundabouts. That was pretty tricky, but I got through it. I was driving on the wrong side of the road and all roundabouts, and they warned me at the Enterprise. They said, be careful. And I said, oh, I will. I just filed a car in front of me. I looked like a 95-year-old, but I did it. Yes, sir.
Wesley Hoover, it does say on the signage along the road, coming into the roundabouts, don't drive beside tractor
Yeah, I know.
It does say it there, the signs are clearly marked and they're decent size too.
Well, not all children.
Well,
And
just
to
saying.
go back to the salt shed, you got brought up the salt shed. This board hasn't discussed the building. It's been in the budget, ARPA fund. We haven't discussed to build it. But I look at it like this. I mean, I think what we have is efficient enough to get us through a major storm, and we could get more salt in. However, recently I just discovered that for 28 years, this township has been getting enough sufficient salt, selling it to a borough down the road.
Because they don't have storage.
At cost, and we're delivering it for free, And our taxpayers are paying our road crew, our trucks, our fuel, our time to go to the weigh station empty, our time to go to the weigh station with a weight slip, just to take them salt. So are we gonna build a salt shed so we can store more of their salt? I think we should use that ARPA money on other things. Budget's coming up. My goal is, I don't wanna see it there no more, so I don't get asked all these questions every other meeting about the salt shed. I think it's pointless.
Well, and, you know, I think we all know that ARPA funds expire at the end of next year.
Correct.
You spend it or lose it.
No, they have to be encumbered by the end
Oh,
of
well,
next year.
okay.
They have to be spent by the end of 2026.
Okay, I apologize, no problem.
And I think we have a couple culvert replacements and stuff like that we could throw that ARPA fund to next year. So that money will get put to good use.
Well, and you know, part of going way back, 4, 5, 6 years, the reason for the salt shed was all the plows were stored outside. And I know MS4, Ken McCray, they came in and had a little talk with us about oil leaking onto the ground, and that's why the salt shed was proposed. We would take the old salt shed, store that equipment under roof, and then build new salt shed.
So
And
I
that
think
was the premise of.
the last time I was out there, I think all our trucks are inside, just the
trucks
plows are outside.
That was the problem, the truck plows and the quick disconnects on the hydraulic lines and everything else.
So perhaps instead of building a salt shed, we need storage for our plows.
Whatever, yeah.
Spend your money wisely, not. Yes, sir.
Jeff Garner, I got a letter here I'd like to read. Board of Supervisors and residents of Cocalico Township. Over the last few years, members within Reamstown Fire Company and Smokestown Fire Companies have been discussing the pros and cons of consolidation of Cocalico Township Fire and EMS service. It has been discussed in public meetings by the Board of Supervisors as well. On May 25th, 2023, Reamstown sent a letter to Smokestown outlining their interest consolidating services and invited Smokestown to meet and discuss the options. Smokestown was in favor of potential discussions and meetings were set up with the presidents and chiefs of both departments. Both presidents and chiefs decided that they would take the information back to their members for discussion and a formal vote to consolidate services. On Monday, September 11, 2023, both Reamstown and Smokestown had a vote at their monthly business meetings. Both departments voted to consolidate. Reamstown was 16-1 and Smokestown was 17-4. For clarification, this was to consolidate departments. Any further votes will be for the new department matters, i.e. name, officers, bylaws, etc. 2 members were chosen from each department to function as a steering committee for the future consolidation, with each president and fire chief providing guidance and recommendations as requested by the steering committee. The committee will also include a member from the community. The first steering committee meeting was held last evening, Wednesday, October 4, 2023. A representative of the steering committee will attend future Board of Supervisors meetings to provide updates on the status of the new department as they are made available. The steering committee will be requesting approval from the Board of Supervisors as we relate to the new department. This may be in the form of a resolution or letter outlining their approval as a new department for East Cocalico Township. The committee will also be looking to discuss the necessary financial needs due to forming the new department. We have reached a milestone within the township and the history of our departments, and that this was a necessary decision for the residents of East Cocalico Township and for current volunteers of each department. We thank you for your time, continued support. Respectively submitted, Jeff Garner, President Reamstown Fire Company, Donnie Stover, Fire Chief, Smokestown Fire Company, due to the president being on vacation. I have copies of this letter for the supervisors, the manager, and the solicitor.
Well, that was a mouthful. I guess congratulations to you and Donnie for taking a valiant effort moving forward for the future of firefighting in the township. I know this is the history of it's been tried several times in the last 20+ years without success. I guess from my standpoint, however the board can assist the two companies to get this accomplished, I'm here to support the effort. I'm speaking for myself.
My question is, what about Stevens?
The invitation is open, but due to the public comments that they made, that they did not have interest to consolidate, the other two departments started the conversation, and that's how it was approached.
Yes, ma'am.
Just like to correct the record, Chad had always talked about consolidation, no was interested, we're against a merger.
How do you distinguish between the two?
It was just how they, in his mind, as I'm speaking for someone else, how they work together, separate entities consolidating together to work as one, not combining everything together, not finances, not kind of everything else.
So is this a merger or consolidation?
And you can word it how you like it. Consolidation, merger, to us, it's the same thing.
So is
The words under the law mean the same.
So is it, just for public knowledge and for my purposes too, for what Mrs. Weaver just said, is this new company gonna have one bank account or two bank accounts?
It's gonna be one department. It will be one department.
So in reality, Smokestown's gonna go away, Greenstown's gonna go away, and we're gonna get Company A.
That is correct, with a new charter, new everything, and that's how it's always been presented, that's how it's always been looked at. That's really the right way to do it. That's the right way we felt that the township needs to do it because of the three departments in here. That's the cleanest way. On the operations side, they are operating a lot like that now. They're training together, they're fighting fires together, on lots of months together. So the operations side is kind of doing that now. It's just more or less the administrative side.
Jeff, just for clarification, so it's not rebranding?
That is correct, it's not a rebranding. The only,
Sorry, I'm talking business speak.
yeah, the only thing that we have not talked to attorney, and this was discussed at the last time we tried to merge, is we were advised that we take one existing charter and utilize that charter to help speed the process up. So say you
As a
take,
draft.
yes, so you have that charter established.
Yeah.
And then that charter, so just say it's Reamstown, so our charter 1906 would now, Reamstown would go away, the new charter would go into effect, Smokestowns would go away completely, done, new line officers, new executive officers, same stations, new names, trucks are lettered different, the one thing will be call numbers, that will be a challenge. But we'll have to look at that, and I'm getting a little bit more into the trenches here than I need to, but it is gonna be one department and information to follow, because it's a name change and things like that.
Okay, so, sorry, not to get into the weeds, but just from my understanding then, so then you will be filing, again, business side of
Yep.
things, final tax returns with the IRS on the 501Cs.
That's correct.
Closing those 501Cs out, and basically you're then implementing a new 501C.
That is correct.
And all of this will require approval by both the Commonwealth Attorney General's office and the Lancaster County Workers Board before things may be filed with the corporation. As a charitable organization, the Commonwealth, on behalf of its citizens, stands as trustee for the assets of these two companies. So the companies have to proceed as approved and directed by the AG and the ordinance board.
So then we'll need to approve a new charter for the new entity to operate within Cocalico when you close the other entities. So keep that in mind, right?
You'll need to revise your first two.
The first two.
That's correct. that's why we asked, we'll need information, we'll need backing from the township when those things come. I mean, legals haven't even talked, we haven't even talked legals.
So just in general terms then, did you discuss anything about the relief, or how's that gonna?
That is something that they want to discuss, and that's something that will have to be discussed by them, the steering committee as well, and the township.
So it's an open item?
Yes, it is, it's very open-ended.
Because the REEF is a separate organization.
Neighbors.
Donnie Stover, the REEF Association is a separate organization made up of totally different officers and stuff, so that, so you're bringing them in too, they have to help make the decision, because, you know, how we, is that, right now, all the money goes in the one pot. Well, if we're separated, part of that money will have, depending what Stevens decides to do down the road, they'll have to get, take a portion of that money as well, and, and that's all.
Right, the distribution, the lead point, that's why I asked, is the relief.
They'll all have to get.
So I guess my question to follow up, Mrs. Weaver said what she said, and you said what you said, so I'm assuming that's, with what they're putting on the table, it's a no-go for Stevens right now.
I can't comment to that.
Okay. But you said the door is open?
Door is open for any department that wants to join our department, our new department.
Okay. Well, congratulations to you guys for doing that, and hopefully we can come up with a unanimous way.
Like we said, it's a done deal. We won't go back on it. The vote's been done, so now it's just a matter of the timing of when it will physically take place. There's no future votes to say yes or no.
As a recommendation, I mean, we're here to make decisions for our taxpayers. It'd be nice to have everyone together. That's the way I'd like to see it, rather than, so if there's a way of, I say it always, a communication, try to keep that door open and try to see where maybe things can give or get or what, I don't know. If there's a will, there's a way.
Absolutely.
So, the goal is, we're talking about volunteers, how it's difficult, right? And if we don't work together, how are we gonna stay together? So, that's my thoughts. I can't speak for the whole board, but any other comments or questions? Yes, sir.
Two quick things. Alan Maxwell, I applaud the two companies for the initiative you took, as well as the foresight in looking after the residents of the township in a much better and efficient way. So my congratulations to you, and support 100% goes out to both of you as you do it, and Stevens as it considers whether to move forward with it or not as well. It's a big decision. So I applaud you for that. Second, I had a question for Matt. And I don't know if this is possible or not, but we heard from Mr. Carrasco that there was a 5-year plan in place that the preceding boards, or the following boards, chose not to follow. Is there a way for the township to do a 5-year plan that would be binding on any succeeding boards so that we don't run into this issue again?
So, the purpose from you is that the plan isn't binding on anyone. It doesn't have the force of law, so.
No.
The short answer is no.
I was just curious, thank you.
That's why you have votes
And that's why.
Gotta elect the right
and
people.
things change.
It's up to the residents to keep the pressure on the board to follow that
And
plan.
as majorities change, priorities change.
You elect two conservatives, nothing's ever gonna happen. Just saying.
Wow.
Wow.
Just saying. Oh, not in that,
No, that's on record.
It's on record, it's being recorded, but you get what I'm saying.
Thank you.
Anything else? Yes, sir.
Donnie Stover, I'm just wondering, I know that there's some, in the past meetings, there was some voting that happened that supervisors didn't vote because of, conflicts of interest and whatever else. Plus the way the township's growing, and now today, tonight there's some things said that Well, the board changed, so different things changed. Had the board thought about expanding it up to like five people? That way, there's still some more people involved that you can't say, oh, well, we have a new board. That there's some, like 2 or 3 people been in this board for 5, 6 years. Is there a way that you could?
You're saying a 5-member board?
Like expand the board to the township's expanding, maybe get a larger board.
Sometimes 3 of us can't get along, imagine 5 of us.
If we,
That's a good thing.
for the record, if we got along on every single item, that's not a good thing.
It'll raise red flags all over the place. So it's good to have discussion and different ideas.
You need good discussion.
I don't want to deal with 2 other people, they're enough. These 2 guys are enough for me, I don't need anybody else. Yes, sir.
Alan Fry, this was put on the ballot many years ago, and it was turned down almost unanimously. The taxpayers don't want 5 supervisors. Now, you can go through the hassle of putting on the ballot, that's the only way we'll get changed.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
It took a lot of signatures to get it on the ballot.
It did, and it went down, like the Titanic.
What was the number?
I don't know.
You remember that too?
No, it was a percentage of the total.
That's before him.
That's before him.
That was before him. That was before.
All right, anything else? Yes, sir.
Don Miller. I know it was discussed before, but since we have a new addition to the building, more activity going on at the salt shed, well, not salt shed, but the maintenance shed. Maybe it might be brought back up again, security cameras, and also maybe GPS in vehicles.
I've talked to the manager about that, and I know, I think we're gonna put something in the budget just so the board can discuss it at the budget meetings, but, yeah. Yep. All right, the next Board of Supervisors meeting will be Thursday, October 19th at 7 o'clock here at the Township Building. And I'd like to request an executive session for personnel matters, in particular the Director of Public Works position. Do I have a second?
Question.
Yes,
The 19th, is that gonna be the hearing for Dave Hollander?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Motion for executive session?
Yes, I'm here.
And we are adjourning the meeting. We're not going to be coming back. All right, so motion and second, all in favor, aye? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Have a good night. God bless.